back. I'm Coda Candy, or welcome if you are new. And today we're starting a new thing here on this channel, and possibly on Spotify if I feel like it. We're calling it Do Something Spooky, where every episode I cover paranormal activity, true crime, and horror movies. So without further delay, let's begin with the case of Elisa Lam. Now, if you don't know who she is, we're going to dive into her background. Elisa Lam was a student at the University of British Columbia, although she wouldn't be registered in the school at the beginning of 2013. In mid-2010, Lam would begin a blog on the website Blogspot, which is now called blogger.com. She would post to this blog frequently for 2 years. Her posts were of models and clothing, but she would also post about her struggle with mental health. In January of 2012, she would lament about how a relapse had caused her to have to drop several classes at the very start of the term, and this left her, quote, so utterly directionless and lost. She titled her blog, quote, "You're always haunted by the idea that you're wasting your life," which is a quote from the novelist Chunk Palahniuk. I think that's how you say his last name. I'm not really sure. She used the quote as an epigraph for her blog. She was worried that her transcript would look suspicious with all the classes she had dropped, and that she would be unable to continue her studies to graduate schools. A little over 2 years after the fact, Lam would abandon the blog to use another one on Tumblr titled Novella Novea. I looked for it, but was unable to find it. It's possibly long gone by now. So anyway, it consisted of fashion photos and quotes and posts in Lam's own words, using the same quote from her other blog on Blogspot. Lam had bipolar disorder and depression and was on several medications. According to her family, Lam had never suffered from suicidal ideation or attempts. Keep this in the back of your mind. It will be important later. She had gone missing for a brief period before, though. Lam had had a history of not taking her meds, and as a result, suffered hallucinations. For her trip to California, she had traveled alone on Amtrak and city buses. She visited the San Diego Zoo and posted photos on social media. On January 26, she arrived in Los Angeles, and 2 days later, she would check into the Cecil Hotel, near downtown Skid Row. Lam originally had 2 roommates in a shared room on the 5th floor. However, they would complain about, quote, certain odd behavior, and Lam would be moved to a room of her own after 2 days. Apparently, according to Amy Price, the manager at the time, Lam left notes for her roommates that said go home or go away, and she would lock the door, requiring a password for entry. A few days before she disappeared, she attended a live taping of Conan in Burbank, but would be escorted out due to disruptive behavior. Finally, we're getting into what you're here for. What happened to her? Lam had contacted her parents during the trip until January 31st, 2013. She was supposed to check out of the Cecil Hotel that day and head to Santa Cruz, but she never did, and her parents hadn't heard from her. Staff who had seen her before she disappeared said she was alone. Katie Oprah, the manager of the last bookstore, was the only one who recalled seeing her. Quote, she was outgoing, very lively, very friendly. While she was getting gifts to bring home to her family, Oprah recalled to CNN, she was talking about what books she was getting and whether or not what she was getting would be too heavy for her to carry around as she traveled. LAPD would search the hotel to the extent that they could without a probable cause. They checked Lam's room, the rooftop, but she was nowhere to be found. They even had dogs tracking her scent, but still nothing. They couldn't check the rooms unless they had reason to believe there was a crime committed. LAPD realized they would need more help to find her on February 6th. Flyers of her were posted everywhere in the neighborhood and online. It caused the case to circulate through the media. On February 13th, another week with no sign of her, the famous video of her in the elevator the day she disappeared was released. The video consists of her seemingly pushing random buttons. It looks like all of them, but I'm not 100% sure. And acting rather strangely with her movements and gestures. She peers through the hallway and then leaves the elevator while the doors remained open. After they failed to close after she returned, she exits the elevator and the doors close. This video spread everywhere, and I'm pretty sure anybody listening to this has seen the video. And many began to speculate that she was on ecstasy, or that she was trying to get the car to move to escape a pursuer. Others believed that she was having a psychotic episode due to the bipolar disorder. Guests at the Cecil complained about low water pressure or that the water was black and had an odd taste after she went missing. 6 days after the footage was released on February 19th, a maintenance worker would check the water tank on the roof in one of the 4 1,000-gallon tanks providing water to a coffee shop, a kitchen, and guest rooms. Elisa Lamb's body would be found face up in the water. The tank was drained and cut open to remove her body. On February 21st, 2 days after she was found, it was determined that she had passed away from accidental drowning with bipolar disorder as a prominent cause. In June, it was revealed that she was found naked. Clothes like the one she was wearing in the elevator were also floating in the tank with a sand-like texture on it. Her room key and her watch were found with her. Lamb's body was already decomposing. It was greenish, and there was obvious skin separation. There was no evidence of physical or sexual trauma or suicide. As mentioned earlier, she was not suicidal, allegedly. The only drugs found in her system were prescribed and/or over-the-counter. No illegal or recreational drugs. There was also only a small amount of alcohol in her system. Not enough for you to be drunk. It was about 0.02%. Investigators concluded, based on the little bit of prescription meds found in her system, that she had either undermedicated or completely stopped taking her meds. Day, nobody knows what happened to her. There's links to paranormal, foul play, or just her bipolar disorder, but nobody really knows for sure. That's it for now on the first episode of Do Something Spooky. I'm Coda Candy, and goodbye.